clicked on this video, that must mean you have some kind of interest in wood or wood splitters. Tiny pile here I gotta split. Before I do that, I just want to mention a few things about this thing. You can fast forward this part, but then again you might miss something extremely important. So I've had this one for about 15 years. It's one of them high quality Chinese things. It's all I could afford. Anyways, it came from a store here in Canada. It's called Princess Auto, and I'm pretty sure it's much the same as Harbor Freight would be for our neighbors to the south. It's one of those stores where you have cordless drills and chains and cinches, and right next to that you have pork rinds and evening dresses. So, and I think most of the stuff in those stores is from China. So anyways, I've had this for about 15 years. It's worked, for the most part, really good. I got to around 50 cords of wood that I'd split with it before the first major malfunction, we'll say. And that malfunction has pretty much cut the speed of this thing down by almost 50%. And I'll show you what that is. Okay, the problem started with this thing here. I guess it's called a valve. We'll call it a valve. It's got the controller for the ram to go in and out. It started spewing out and leaking everywhere, so I took it apart, couldn't fix it, couldn't get parts, had to buy a whole new one. So I went and bought one at the Princess Auto store that looked identical. Everything looked exactly the same. However, this in and out were different. So this one still works, still functions, but before this had an automatic shut off. This would come back in and it would stop right here. It'd shut off. Well, it doesn't do that anymore. So you have to stand here holding this and wait until it comes in and then manually shut it off. Well, just that one part of that function makes it so that it takes almost twice as long to split a piece of wood. Normally, you would have just set this to come back, and as this was coming back, returning, you could go pick up another log and put another log on, or take that log, throw it away, and put another log on. Well, now, there's all that waiting time in between. Anyways, that's what I thought I'd mention about that. Otherwise, they're pretty basic, and there's not much that can go wrong with them. And if so, they're pretty easy to fix. I'm going to split a few logs. This is fir. And I'll show you kind of the way I do it. When I do split wood, I make kindling at the same time. Well, when I'm making kindling, whenever I find a piece with no knots in it, that's usually when I make kindling out of it. Okay, it seems that I found a way to make my long stories a little more tolerable. Let's get to splitting some wood. I pretty much never run the machine with the throttle wide open. It's absolutely not necessary.
So for anybody planning on buying or even building their own wood splitter, that auto return valve I would strongly recommend you have.
Well, I worked for a guy making firewood, so I've run a bunch of different splitters. Some are better than others, but they're all good. It makes, for older people like me, makes life easy. Using an axe, it just start getting older and you don't want to do that, even though it's probably better for you. This cart full of kindling is good for less than a month. That's less than 2 weeks worth. You know, those guys that have companies that are selling firewood. It's a tough job. It's a lot of labor goes into it. Sure, you can make money at it, but the work part, you have to be able to cut the labor down. Each round, like each log round, when I refer to a log like this, I'm calling it a round. Each round gets handled like probably like 6 times. Let's see, 1, you cut it down in the bushes and you throw it out of the bushes. 2, you load it into the truck. 3, you stack it in the truck. 4, you unload it from the truck. 5, you bring it to the splitter. 6, you split it. 7, you stack it. So maybe 7 times. That's a lot of times. If you could cut down on the amount of times that you handle each log, that's where you could probably do better at it. Just cut one of them steps out and it's 1/7 quicker, right? Anyways, thanks for watching.